What's up, everybody? Back for another Honkai Star Rail video, and for this video we're going to be going over a new tactic that Hoyoverse seems to be doing when it comes to rerun banners. So on the screen right now we have the current banners that have happened from 2.5 up to the upcoming 2.7, and then we have 3.0 phase 1 and 2. We just know that from drip marketing, and that's about it. Now, there's something very interesting, and if you have already caught on, then good for you. They have decided, and it pretty much fully started in phase 1 2.5 when they decided to rerun 3 characters, which is very interesting because people weren't sure if that was going to be the norm, and 2.6 was going to have, Donhang and 2 others, but then they kind of just backed off and stopped doing it. So, very interesting decision by them. I'll go over what I think they were trying to do with that once we wrap around to what is apparently happening with all these banners, right? So Phase Out is a follow-up attack unit. Robin is a follow-up attack support and overall a really good support, right? Kafka is a dot enabler. Black Swan is a dot slash support, or I guess, sorry, not a support character, a debuffer to be specific, right? And then Mose is the 4-star of the banner, so he's just kind of there, but he is follow-up as well. Then in phase 2, we have Linxia, who is a break healer and has follow-up, so she's also a follow-up attack healer. We have Topaz, who is a follow-up attack support and debuffer at the same time. Technically she's a debuffer, right? And a sub DPS on the same one, right? Topaz is a special case, right? So if you didn't catch on to something I was saying a lot there, is follow-up attacks. So since Phase Out is the new shiny DPS, they dropped Robin alongside her, right? Which is going to be her support. Then they dropped a 4-star that you can use with Phase Out if you wanted to. And then next phase, if you didn't get Mose or you wanted Topaz instead, you have Topaz. Then you need a sustain for the team, you can use Linxia. To be fair, Aventurine also exists at this point, so if you had him, you didn't really need Linxia. But Linxia does work on follow-up because she has follow-up attacks in her, what I like to call the bunnies, right? When she sends out the bunnies to attack, that is a follow-up attack. So all at once, you have the entire follow-up attack team right here, and then plus Aventurine, who we didn't know he was rerunning at the time, but he is still there, right? We'll mention him, we'll shout him out, right? So if you were a new player, you would be able to summon for all 4 of these at once. Now, to summon for all 4 of these at once, you either had to get really lucky or just spend money, right? And we all know how great FOMO is in this game. You miss something, you feel like you're screwed forever. It's GG, you're never seeing the character again, right? Then we have Kafka and Black Swan, who, in my opinion, honestly shouldn't have reran at all. They should just be like, whatever, maybe we'll see them in 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, right? And this should have been how it is. But they decided to rerun both of them at the same time, which, funny enough, if you wanted to run a dot team, they're pretty much the 2 best dot units. Dot is just not loved, unfortunately, as someone who really likes Kafka and Black Swan, they just got no love, right? So it's very interesting that they managed to rerun them at the same time, and they just didn't go back to doing 3 reruns at the same time. If they were doing 3 reruns at the same time, I'd be a little less, I wouldn't say annoyed or disappointed with how they're doing reruns now, but it would be a bit more understandable. I'd be like, okay, well, if we're getting 3 reruns for phase 1 or phase 2 and then 1 rerun for the other one, like if they decided just to do this, right, for phase 2 and phase 1 was just Donhang, I'd be like, okay, that's fair, right? Because then we're just going to see a lot of characters coming back rather quickly, so you don't have to wait too long, maybe like a few months waiting, and then boom, your character probably is going to come back. And that's pretty much a good thing slash bad thing. It's good if you are saving. It's bad if you're like a new player or you're blindsided by it and they're just suddenly all out, you have no currency, right? But since they're going back to the singular rerun, and then potentially with the Rappa patch, how we have Acheron and Aventurine rerunning, we might have sort of the Genshin way of doing things. So I know Genshin has been doing this for a while, where it's 1 new character and then a rerun, and then there's 2 rerun characters, right? But it seems like Hoyo is rerunning characters who work well with whoever's out. Now, Acheron, her best sustain is Aventurine, right? Because with Aventurine's Light Cone, when you do a follow-up attack, it's a debuff, and when you do his ult, it's a debuff, right? Now, if they wanted to be really funny, they'd actually put Jiao Q here, but they didn't. I think he's a little too new for them to put there, right? So that is fair. But with Sunday, we now know Sunday's kit. Sunday is an action advance for summons. He's pretty much Power Creep Bronya. Guess who they rerun him with? The quite literally only summon character who would possibly use him. Linksha and Topaz also have summons, but Linksha is a healer. And while you can't use her as a DPS, they definitely didn't intend for you to pull for Sunday for Linksha DPS. And Topaz is like a sub DPS for like follow-up attacks. You could make it work, I guess, right? But it was clearly that he was made for the Remembrance characters coming out, and then Jingyun just happened to fit the criteria for that, right? So if you wanted to get Jingyun, his best support is right next to him. So guess what? If you didn't save, you're coughing up the cash. Then we have, which I think is arguably an even funnier decision, they decided to drop Tingyun, who is the Harmony MC, I don't want to say replacement, but for lack of a better word, his replacement when you switch them over to the Remembrance MC when that drops, right? So I'm assuming Remembrance MC is going to be extremely good, so they can sort of shy people away from using Harmony MC and get these cells on Ting Yun. So now you have to summon for a premium character for break if you want to use the new flashy Remembrance MC, right? Now, of course, who better to put with a fire break character than Firefly herself, who implants fire weakness? Yeah, so now what you can do is you can run Firefly, Rerun Mei, because Rerun Mei is like the staple for break teams, Ting Yun, and Gallagher. And guess what? Rerun Mei, her being ice doesn't really matter. Everyone is a fire character, so then you're good to go. You have an excellent team. You can use Linksha or Gallagher. They're both fire. So yeah, that's very, very funny. I'd say it'd be even funnier if we knew that like this was the next banner coming up, because then it's like, oh hey, guess what, you have like the whole new break team all in one go, kind of like how they did the follow-up attack team. But Linksha is too new, they wouldn't do that, right? So it's pretty clear now that when Starl is dropping a new character, whatever that character's kit is, we're probably going to get a character who matches up well and sort of I almost said synthesize as well. That's probably not what I wanted to say. Syncs well with whoever is coming out, right? Now, we have no idea what Herta or Angelia, I believe that's how you say her name, do at the moment. We just know that they are Erudition and Remembrance, right? And so I'm going to assume that her and Sunday will get along well because of that. Obviously, they're not going to rerun Sunday, so I couldn't really tell you who they're rerunning. If you wanted my honest best guess at who they'd rerun, because Herta is Erudition and Ice alongside her 4-star form, if they play the same, I would assume, right? Because Herta's whole thing is when characters go below 50% HP, she does a follow-up attack, right? Meaning you'd run her in Pure Fiction. Guess who is good in Pure Fiction for a 5-star? Jade, Argenti. And then if they wanted to, I'm not too sure exactly how Herta's kit will work. They could do Ruan Mei, right? Because Ruan Mei is, you know, speed, weakness break, all that stuff. And Herta and Ruan Mei are pretty solid pairing in Pure Fiction, right? Because then you'll get the weakness break off, the more damage you can put it with Himiko, right? But more than likely, you know, for Herta to get her spin off, right? If she is similar to the 4-star version, it'd be these two, right? So they'd Jade hasn't rerun yet. Firefly just got a rerun, so Jade is probably going to be receiving a rerun soon. I can't remember when Argenti reran, but he also fits the same criteria as Jade, right? But like I said, this is just speculation. I have no idea. Herta could straight up just be like some weird ass unit. She could be an Erudition support for all I know, right? And then for her, I'm just gonna take a shot at the guard and say, bro, it's time to bring Ratio back, bro. He's been absolutely just skipped. We're about to be getting Firefly / potentially Jade reruns, and Ratio is a 1.0 unit, and he hasn't reran yet. He has not reran yet. Like, hello? What happened? Did we just forget Ratio? He was free, and they said, all right, we're never putting him out again. But I doubt Ratio and her are gonna sit well, or synthesize, or synchronize. There we go. Well with each other. So that one might just be like, okay, we have another choice. But it's very apparent that Starl definitely wants to drop characters who you will pretty much, if you don't have them and you like one of the characters, you're like, oh, well, one of their best partners is on the other banner, so I'd summon for him, which would increase sales, you know, probably get you to spend more of your savings. It's, I wouldn't say a scummy tactic in a sense, because it's just like how gacha games are. And technically speaking, if you just were saving for a unit, you're probably either already have one of the units, or, you know, I guess to start prepping to having more Jades, right? Just skipping more characters. This isn't going to affect me too much, I don't think, hopefully. But I do know this will affect a lot of people who, you know, spend less on the game, or hell, even whales, bro. Like, imagine being like, okay, you know, I didn't whale, or I didn't care for follow-up when it initially launched, and you're like, okay, I think I'm gonna start collecting follow-up attack characters. I'll just grab them when they start rerunning and then build a team. And then they drop this up on you, and you're like, oh, okay. And then next thing you know, you're losing 50-50s. The hundreds are flying off your credit card, off your debit card, or whatever. You're buying gift cards, and next thing you know, you've lost like 8 50-50s, and you finally secured like Fei Zhao, Robin, and Topaz, and they're like cones, and it costs you like $800, right? You know, even if you're a whale, that wouldn't be too good of a feeling, right? But if they spread it out a bit more, you'd be like, okay, this time I got Robin, this time I got Topaz, you know, Fei Zhao reruns grabbed her, you know, you'd have more time to save. But let me know what you guys think of this change, question mark. I guess it's not really a change, it's just very apparent what they're doing. In the comments, do you think it's scummy? Do you think it'll help because now you'll be able to summon for more of the team, right? I've seen a few people say this is somewhat good because now if you are summoning for pieces of the puzzle and the puzzles get outdated, like let's say for example Topaz has Mose and March as sort of like replacements for her if you don't have Topaz. Imagine if you or building a follow-up attack team and you summoned for one of them, and you're like, let's say you got Topaz, like, okay, now I need to wait for Fei Zhao to rerun, and by the time Fei Zhao reruns we have an even better like Topaz unit. Then it's like, okay, well that character was kind of like a waste of currency, right? If they're all released at once, then you could summon for all of them and then you'd have the team. And while it could get power crept in the future, you won't get power crept as you're trying to build the team, which I guess does work, but it also isn't like the most free-to-play friendly thing I've ever seen. And at the end of the day, this game's got to make money, so I understand why they're doing it. But like I said, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Is it W's and an L? How will this affect your savings going forward? Are you going to start saving a bit more? Are you going to, you know, summon like you always have and just not care and hope for the best? Let me know. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Star Wars content. I should be doing a Should You Summon for Sunday video and Jingyun video rather soon now that the banners are coming up. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And of course, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.